I first came to the decision to open up my own school back in 2006. I had resigned from the school district of Philadelphia. I was the youngest of only 5 African-American male school psychologists. And in my work as a school psychologist, my job was and is to evaluate children to determine whether or not they have disabilities and if they need special education to learn because of those problems. Well, right from the beginning, I was sent dozens, hundreds of African-American boys who I was being asked to determine and then diagnose with problems that they didn't have. I was asked to say they was learning disabled when they were not. I was asked to say they were emotionally disturbed when they were not. I was asked to say that they had mild mental retardation when in fact they did not. The frustration and the pain and the disappointment that I suffered being a school psychologist motivated me to resign from the school district. And around that time, I was offered an opportunity to become assistant principal at a Philadelphia charter school. Well, as an assistant principal, I had an epiphany. Something crossed my mind that I hadn't thought about prior. And that was understanding that if I really wanted to help African American children, I could probably do a better job building a school than building a clinic. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am a school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. In addition to that, I hold degrees in political science and education. I am here at the historic St. Paul's College. This beautiful campus, 135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy for African Children. This college, St. Paul's, was opened on September the 24th, 1888 by a contemporary of the great Booker T. Washington. That great ancestor's name was James Solomon Russell. Father Russell opened this college with less than a dozen students. And by the time it reached its zenith, St. Paul's College owned more than 1,000 acres of land and housed more than 1,000 African children. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, community stakeholders of the African race, I implore you, I beg you, I summon you, and I petition you to donate to this cause. Donate to this fundraiser. Let us show the world that we care enough about our children and enough about our history and enough about our ancestors to keep St. Paul's College in the hands of the African American community and in the hands of Dr. Umar Johnson and in the interests of African children and under the skies of Almighty God and our ancestors. Help me keep this college alive and keep the dream of its founder, James Solomon Russell, alive forever.
Morris Brown College was just sold to the city of Atlanta for about $14 million. That's a pretty price versus what St. Paul's is looking for, which is in the low millions. Also, there's other historically black colleges that may soon, unfortunately, come up for sale as well, but they're not at the selling stage. And because I want my school to be residential, I was looking for a place that had the dormitories as well as the athletic facilities as well as the academic facilities. And St. Paul's being in Virginia on the eastern seaboard, not too far from Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, not too far from North Carolina, South Carolina, it was just the perfect location. The size is doable, manageable, small but large enough to make happen what we need to see happen for our young men. So I've met with the president. Yes, all of that. I've met with the president. I've met with the realty company that represents the school. And the president and I, more than anything else, have been in contact on a regular basis, you know, and they're hoping that I can make the money that's necessary, that I can raise the funds. But if not, I understand that they do have some bills that got to be paid before they close out the facility. So if they have to sell it, then they have to sell it. But they are compassionate. They go to drumarjohnsonschool.com, DRUMAR johnsonschool.com. Click on the PayPal link and donate as much as you can. And don't donate once, come back 2 and 3 times. And I also ask that you donate what you're able to give. Don't give me $20 if you're giving the gas station $100. Don't give me $10 if you're giving your hairdresser, your cosmetologist, $300 a week, but you're only going to give me $20 for our boys. So I'm asking people to give what they're able to give. If you can only give $10, I accept that humbly. But if you're going to give me something that is beneath what you're able to do, then that's kind of disrespectful, and that's an insult for what we're trying to do. Dr. Umar Johnson is trying to do something about that war by giving our children a heaven on earth and a home away from a home where there will be no special ed, there will be no suspension, there will be no expulsion, there will be no need for psychiatric medication or ADHD, where there will be no special ed, there will be no suspension, there will be no expulsion, there will be no need for psychiatric medication or ADHD, where there will be no special ed,
where there will be no special ed.
We will also have a small program for deaf children, a small program for blind children, a small program for autistic children, and a small program also for children with serious mental illness. We will also have a small program for deaf children, a small program for blind children, a small program for autistic children, and a small program also for children with serious mental illness. And a small program also for children with serious mental illness.
For children with serious mental illness.
That's what we're working towards. So far, we raised $250,000. I'm gracious, but I'm not content. Because I know y'all got a lot more to give me than some $250,000. When Darren Wilson killed Michael Brown, white folks gave him $300,000 in 3 weeks for his defense. And Dr. Umar Johnson is trying to build a state-of-the-art school for black boys that y'all all know I need. And after 6 months, I only got $250,000. Trifling ass black people. Like I said, and I don't care if you get offended. We can handle that outside. We trifling. I should have been had that $2 million. I should have had that $2 million 30 days after I started the fundraiser on May the 20th. It don't make no sense. But y'all sure call me up when the school's messing with your son. Did you make a donation to my school? Oh, not yet. Bye. Click.
You better not. Hello? Now, I know it must be this signal out here because I'm by some woods and stuff, and they got that construction going on. I know.
If it's $10, $20, $50, you come up with what you can afford and you send me that. I'm getting sick and tired of getting texts on my cell phone for black folk talking about I've donated like they done. You gave me $25 damn and you think you free now. We got to raise $2 million. Your ass ain't done. I better get some more and some more and some more and some more until we hit the goal, brothers and sisters. That's the way we're going to have to do this. We also going to teach our children African spirituality. African spirituality. It's not a religious school. We're not into that. I don't want the kids coming back home to you because you part of the problem. You got Willie Lynch all in your system. White Jesus on the wall, teaching your kids to be multicultural, daughter looking like Beyonce, a head full of blind ass weed. What the hell I want her coming back home to you for? She stay with me and the boys stay with me. In the dorms. In the dorms.
In the dorms.
And since I'm not licensed, if I conduct a clinical evaluation, that means I have to get a licensed psychologist to sign off on my evaluation. For clinical work, for psychoeducational work, I don't need anybody to sign off because I am certified. The problem is when people are not in a particular field, they don't understand the regulations of the field. They don't understand the different areas of the field, and they'll go looking for something that they know nothing about and end up drawing false conclusions about the person they're researching.
And see, that's just the point. People have a right to look up who is going inside of their minds. People have a right to know what type of doctor, be it medical or psychological, they have a right to know who those people are. And so going back to the question, for your certified psychology degree, what name can we find it under?
A psychology degree. You get a degree from an institution.
Okay.
As I said again, my certification comes from the State Department of Education, as I said a moment ago.
Dr. Umar, why is it so hard for you just to answer the question?
Because I answered your question, and I think it's a ridiculous waste of time that we're worrying about where I got my degrees from instead of educating your parents on the law.
We want to educate our people. That is very true, Dr. Umar.
You're spending a whole show on my degrees.
Well, but it didn't have to take that, Dr. Umar.
For 20 years, ma'am.
Dr. Umar, listen.
Not new at this.
You, and I don't mean to bring age up, but you're old enough to be my son. Okay? And you are a smart, intelligent man. But do you know how many other people out here are just as smart and as intelligent? We deal with people all the time who give us a lot of this and that, and we as people don't check things out. I understand.
I understand. I think the best way to investigate Dr. Umar Johnson, I think this is the best way. After you found out I had my degree, since that matters so much to some people. But the best way to investigate me is to put out a calling to any parents that have worked with Dr. Has Dr. Umar ever helped you with your
I'm
child?
sure you have, Dr. Umar. Without a doubt. Again, I'm going to go back to the question.
Focus on those.
Thai Afro Svengalis here. Coming on, I got an inspiration from Keyboard Musician. He provided some information on live video, and I'm doing the same. And this is something that many people have always implored Umar Johnson to do. And I'm doing this because he's still groveling and complaining and whining and crying about being ambushed on Roland Martin and just belly aching, and again taking time away from what he is supposed to be doing that he says is so important. Meanwhile, Umar Johnson has yet to produce a single shred of paper proving that he has the documents that he says he has. Now, my main focus is on that screen during that interview. He flashed some supposed title that he was a child therapist, and then he said he was a psychologist. He has never proven, he has never shown documentation. So I'm coming on here to show how easy it is. And work that they have done for civil rights out of the kindness of their hearts, because that's what moved them. It didn't make a damn bit of difference who they were married to. And what they did made a difference, along with thousands of other people of different races. They are fathers, they are grandfathers, they are husbands, some are great-grandfathers. And whatever jobs that they had, they were talented in their trade. And you cannot say, Umar Johnson, what they did didn't make a difference in collaboration with other people. They were recognized. They're human beings, like all of us are. And you're up here saying you're making a difference about who they married. They married a white woman, and you're saying that that's going to do what? Who cares if you respect them or not? Who are you? What have you done? You're not married. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't have a wife. You're not taking care of your kids. What are your accomplishments, Umar Johnson? You haven't even showed your degree. You haven't shown your degree. I think I have said this many times. And again, I'm not assuming everyone has heard me say this. I worked at a university for 13 years where I verified degrees when I was working on grants. And no one ever, professors who have accomplished over and above, you nationally recognized professors and speakers would come and do projects with grants. They'd fly in from all over the country. They never complained about having to send their degrees in. But you got Umar Johnson that won't show any degree. We only had to ask for it one time if we were going to ask them to come back the following year, because we get audited. They don't care who you are, how famous you are. They come through and audit our documents. There better be a degree in the file, or we're going to get fined for that. You can't take people at their word. Why should we be taking Umar Johnson at his word? All these frauds pillaging the black community were returning donations and charity received on behalf of the black community, which they claim. The Jewish community would resent our prosperity, and we know that's not happening. So, meanwhile, and no less significant, is the grand thanks and reverence due to all those out there who've posted videos, have used any mass media or public means to declare it essential, or who have expended any effort to expose the crookery that enshrouds our community. Keep an eye out for more to come. There's been an intro video posted on the Prince of Scam Africanism, Umar Johnson, and his 1 million lies debunked, who leads the pack of the cons on frauds in the black community. Reason being, he stands tall, as he says, 6'3", and that's for sure.
You dirty midget, fucking albino nigga.
You made that video towards Saraseti. I thought you crossed the line. Frankly, I thought maybe something was wrong with you.
Yeah. If you come to me with a $10,000 check, you would be more privy to information than someone who had a $1,000 check. And someone with a $1,000 check will be privy to more information than someone with a $500 check. In other words, you don't get my entire school plan because you're making a donation.
GoFundMe calls me up and say, we have reason to believe that this account is fraudulent. God damn, Omar, you that desperate? You got that narcissistic type motherfucking attitudes and shit? You easy to trigger? You out there cussing motherfuckers out, telling motherfuckers they ain't shit and this and that, and I would never, ever, ever, ever pimp the black nation? What the fuck are you doing, Omar? They said I was still in school, man. They said I was still in school, man.
As we know, Umar Johnson and Jim Jones, comparison, neither is able to tolerate any negative truth or reality about their situation or circumstances without at least threatening violence. So here we have Jim Jones just out of it, angry as all get up, because a reporter let him know that a follower slipped a note the previous evening letting it be known that he or she, I don't remember which one, wanted to leave Jonestown. And then eventually, I think 11 or 12 people also wanted to leave. So this is out of 900 and something people. So Jones, of course, is livid, and 900 and something people died that day. That's Jones's reaction. Then over here we have Umar Johnson off the rails, just completely out of it, because Saras Sutanseti called him out for being well known for picking what kids he's going to help based on how easy Umar thinks it's going to be to get with the mothers. Well, what was Umar Johnson's response to that? Well, according to some people, Umar Johnson made threats not only online but offline. And those people, or several people, called the Detroit Police Department. And the Detroit Police Department showed up at whatever that event Umar had in Detroit to investigate, because they had several calls. So listen, if you don't want people talking about what you do, you might want to change what you do and let you see what his own daddy said about him. I'm not going to say a word. You look and see what his own daddy said. Now, his dad has 2 Twitter accounts. This is what he says. So it was never about they were straight in the arrow and made a mistake. Because if you make a mistake, you say, okay, I made a mistake. Forgive me. I'll do it right the next time. No, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. That means there's been a long-standing issue. Ask Umar's dad. He'll tell you, right? He knows. He knows him better than any of us. He really does. That's why he was apologizing for him. And that's why we don't hear any in Umar's cult correcting his father. He knows what he's talking about. I haven't seen one of Umar's cult members telling daddy to shut up. Yeah. Or Umar. Dad knows what he's talking about. Yeah, you better believe he knows what he's talking about. The one thing that Umar Johnson and Jim Jones have in common, I'm going to say, out of everything, is their cruel and sensitive and vile venom nature. And nothing comes through even more clear than what I saw Umar Johnson display on that video